Hello, one and all, and may I say, welcome back to the Great Unknown Audio Show with me, the most appropriate face for radio, Maxim Jennings. Alongside me, as always, my co-traveller, my companion, my long-term friend, Mr. Nikolai Brown. Nick, how are we doing?
G'day, mate.
Good eye indeed. So yes, it's been a little while for us since we've done one of these, so we're going to have to fill you in with a number of different encounters we've had so far. As Nick has outlined, we are in the lovely Australia. Last time you heard from us, we were in obviously a very different environment on a train on our way to Kolkata from Wrexham. And for any of you keen listeners, I don't know if you remember, I said that I was a bit anxious about getting on this flight to Kolkata because they specifically specified that we were only allowed 7 kilograms of luggage to take on the flight as a cabin bag. And well, what of course ended up happening when we got to the counter at Kolkata Airport with AirAsia, Nick?
Oh yeah, they measured us back. Well, the thing is, it was a lot of BS because we went to the check-in gates and had our e-tickets ready, but we had to show our passports first, and they were first like, all right, boarding pass. I was like, okay, here it is. And they're like, no, you need a paper copy. I'm like, what? You know, what's the point of downloading an e-ticket on your phone and then you can't use it? So then we had to go to the AirAsia desk, and of course, you know, alarm bells were ringing. They were like, this is how they weigh your bag, you know.
I know.
So I tried to take out some of my stuff. I took out my speaker, my cable, my laptop charger, and my laptop, and my jumper and my coat. And then I think my bag weighed 9 kilograms and yours was 10. So yeah, we had to pay extra.
Unfortunately. So that was the first leg of our trip across to Australia. Was a 4-hour flight to Malaysia, to Kuala Lumpur Airport, where we then had a lovely 10-hour layover in the airport, which was probably much nicer to be inside than outside, considering it was 35 degrees. And obviously, of course, giving them our bags, we had no facilities to clean and wash, so we did stink quite a lot. Not ideal, but we managed.
You had to hand your bag in.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Can you not just pay the extra for the weigh-in?
I
Why do
know.
you have to hand your bag in? It's going on the same plane.
So not ideal, but we waited.
There are probably fat people, right? Who weigh more than me, definitely, of course, but weigh probably double my weight. But you can't take a couple of kilograms over 7 kilograms, which is just ridiculous. Like, I can't take a 10 kg bag, but a 120 kilogram man can perfectly take himself upon the plane, and there's no fine for being overweight. It's outrageous.
But alas, we paid the fine, got onto the second flight from Kuala Lumpur to Melbourne, which was a 7-hour flight, and I was so glad to be joined by a larger-than-life character, an individual, who unfortunately had injured himself before coming on the flight and was on crutches. Ooh, bit of a tester here, this car's coming pretty quick. Oh, that's indicating. And so right in front of me, I was the row just before the premium economy seats. We love those smug bastards who enjoy legroom a bit too much.
That was actually the tightest airline that we've ever flown with.
And so I was sat in the middle. By this time, you probably know that I'm a wide man who likes to man spread whilst on flights to remain comfortable. And so did my co-passenger next to me, another stout man who was quite a bit larger than me, but only about 5'4", and every time he moved, it seemed like all 3 seats were kind of rumbling. He was unable to get up and go to the toilet or anything like that, but he kind of made my flight one of the worst experiences I've had so far travelling, so that was enjoyable. But we eventually arrived in Melbourne at 4:45 in the morning, a perfect time considering that our wonderful establishment that we had booked a week in advance for where we would be staying over the weekend was not ready until 1 in the afternoon. Perfect, absolutely perfect. So we had a grand total of 8 hours to kill before we could get to this property that wasn't probably our first choice. Is that fair to say, Nick?
Yeah, it was not our first choice. That's because they had the Grand Prix on and we had no idea about that. So even if you booked a week in advance, it wasn't long enough.
Impeccable organisation by us again, checking what was going on at the time of our arrival. But nonetheless, we were staying in a district outside of Melbourne called Truganina, which was about a 25-minute metro to a place, and then we would either have to get a bus connecting us to the district or get an Uber. So we stayed there for 4 days. It was a relatively nice open plan bungalow where we had one room and one double bed, so we got a lot of snuggling practice in once again to Nick's delight. Unfortunately, we booked an apartment place because we wanted to do. We know that going out and eating out in Australia is going to be a lot more expensive than in India and Nepal. So we wanted to place the kitchen and the fridge. We got that, which was great. We then went to Aldi and bought some groceries. And on the first night, it seemed that we had a food thief amongst us, food and drink thief. Because when Nick woke up the next morning, his $7 carton of orange juice had miraculously gone missing.
Yeah, I wasn't happy.
And then the following day, this is nice, isn't it?
Yeah, better than the beach.
Yeah. And then the following day, you had, what was it? What else got stolen? I had a banana that got stolen.
Oh, I had a pack of raspberries, which were also like $5.
Yeah.
Nicked.
So it's about a 2-to-1 currency ratio.
And an apple.
Yeah. So based on that experience, it kind of hindered our thoughts surrounding Truganina as a place and also the place we were staying at, which was heavily outlined in my bookings.com review. I'm not sorry to the owners for that because they put us in a place which wasn't the one that was listed on the website, and I had to pay for everything in full in advance. Slightly ridiculous. So we had 4 days there before we could move into the city, and in that time we had gone to our first ever AFL game. We went and watched St Kilda versus last year's champions Collingwood at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, also known as the MCG. Home to a capacity of 100,000 people. It's the biggest stadium I've ever been in. Which way do you want to go? This way?
I don't know, someone we can sit down. Can you sit down on the rose garden?
No. You're going to disrupt the botanicals if you do that. So, the MCG. The MCG, the biggest stadium I've ever been in. First time watching AFL. A very brutish game, filled with lots of kicking, lots of hustle and bustle.
Sit there?
No, it's going to interrupt everyone's thoughts.
What do you mean? We're quiet. We're not that loud. Just want to sit here for a bit and then go sit there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sit here.
Yeah.
There's a nice place to sit here.
Yeah.
Right on rock. Oh, it smells nice here.
Mm.
So yeah, AFL filled with lots of hustle and bustle. Lots of kind of 50-50 competitions and plenty of goals being scored. Very different to rugby, but using the same style ball. And the Aussies really get up for it. It was on a Thursday night. There was, I think the attendance said it was about 68,000 people. Really enjoyable. So we met some friends that we had met whilst travelling Latin America. We met four Aussies who are all from Melbourne, whilst we were in Nicaragua, whilst we were preparing to go to a rooftop rave, a jungle rave in Nicaragua, and we met these 4 Aussies, 3 girls, 1 guy. Very nice people, very welcoming to us, and It was fair to say we had a similar sense of humour and got on pretty well. So we met up again, which was great, on our second day in Melbourne. So that was a fantastic start. Bloody hell, it smells potently a lot like ganja. I'm not sure where I can't visually see where it's from. Maybe it's just the herb, the plant.
Probably the roses, mate.
Yeah. So it was great to see them, and so we had 4 days in our first place in Truganina, and then we moved into the city centre. Just a massive hostel that was home to maybe, 200 travellers at least?
Yeah.
Loads.
Too big, way too big.
Yeah, high-rise building that was primarily
Just dedicated
allocated to
hostel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I was supposed to be taken. Should have gone for it earlier, for fuck's sakes.
It's right in the sun though, that's the only
Yeah, I
thing.
know, but it's perfect, right in the sun.
So we were right in the central business district, or CBD, which was very different to what I expected the middle of Melbourne town, city centre to be like. It was very rushy and there weren't lots of food stalls everywhere, but built up shops kind of stuff, almost a bit like New York in the centre was. So we stayed there for 4 nights, and in that time we went to the National Victoria Gallery. Is that what it was called? Yeah, Victoria Gallery of Art.
Yeah.
Which was a fantastic experience and also free, which was great because there was loads of modern art and historical art on show. Real variety and range within sculpture, videography, paintings, and lots of other stuff. Some interactive art as well, which was great. We spent probably about 5 hours there, which was crazy time to spend at one gallery, but there was absolutely so much to see, and I highly recommend anyone who goes to Melbourne to go to the gallery because it's fantastic. It's a great experience. You can kind of do it at your own pace, no real rush. Any pieces of art that really resonated with you, Nick, there?
Yeah, the free interactive portraits of the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
Are pretty cool. I also like the sculpture they had outside. I don't know if you went to see that. It was like just a big bubble that was meant to represent how precious air is, and like the bubble would deflate every now and then and inflate. So it's just a sculpture dedicated to air. Yeah, and I really like the end part where it was like talking about mega cities. It was just like loads of different screens, like parallel and horizontal to each other, not really symmetrical at all. It's pretty cool.
Very cool indeed. So that kind of took up the whole of one of our days. We haven't done too much sightseeing other than that. We went to the botanical gardens that were about it's about half an hour walk from Flinders Street Station. But that was a really nice, some really nice spots there. Ran a lake.
I went to the war
You
memorial,
did, yeah.
and there was a war museum dedicated to servicemen and women of Victoria and Australia in general. Pretty impressive. I was there for a while actually.
You were.
So that was cool. I still need to see Royal Labour Arena.
Yes, where the Australian Open is held every year.
Who's the King of Melbourne?
Rod Laver.
Yeah.
He's the King of Melbourne.
No, who's the King of Melbourne? Who's the King of Melbourne?
Oh, King Edward VII. No?
No, about Djokovic.
Oh, right, okay. Who's recently just split up with his coach that he's had for like 5 years. Yeah.
He can coach himself.
Goran, his name is. So that also took up one of our days. And then we went to go meet some old school friends. And that was fun. We haven't really done too much drinking, but that was on a Saturday night right by the Yarra River, which is reminds me quite a lot of South Bank. Lots of bars, lots of places to get food.
Very bougie.
Yeah, very upmarket, very expensive. So you have to be careful with the places that you go.
£8.50 for my pint.
Yeah, not ideal, that is it really.